dear viewers and listeners, today I have a very special guest with me. Let's welcome him. He's from Russia. He's here with me, Gauranga. Let's welcome Gauranga. Welcome.
Hi, Swan.
So, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Okay, so coming to the conversation. See, this interview, the purpose behind this interview is to prove how common people, from all walks of life, can lead a very meaningful and successful life by applying principles of awareness. So I know you are doing it. So share all those secrets and whatever blueprints with us. Okay. So to start with, Gauranga, so how did you become a monk? I heard you were a monk for many, many years.
Yeah, I mean, I was a DJ. I was living kind of a very, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Very intense lifestyle. Yes, that's the word. Yes. Lifestyle, a lot of partying, a lot of people hanging in the house. It wasn't Kiev. Actually, I'm from Ukraine, which is, yeah. So, and then at some point, we had kind of a party or whatever it was in my house, and one of the guys was preaching me that I need to believe in God, like he was high and I was high, so it was like interesting conversation. So and he kind of he said one thing which kind of struck me at this point, and interestingly enough, I remember a lot of things very vividly from this area, though from this time. So it seems that too much drugs can ruin your memory, and I think other things I have successfully forgot. Yeah, but this thing was very vivid, and because it changed my life actually. So then he said, "Okay, you don't believe in God, and so why don't you ask Him if just go and kind of maybe come to a situation where you sincerely ask God in whom you don't believe if He is real, that He shows Himself to you." And I thought it's kind of a good proposition. It seemed to be it seemed to make sense to me, and so immediately I said, "Okay, sounds good." So I left to another room. Nobody was there, and I just said, "Okay, my dear God, if you exist, please show yourself to me." That's it. Sincere. I asked sincerely. And believe it or not, from this moment on, things start to change very, very rapidly. Very. Like after a few days, I decided to quit smoking and drinking and illicit sex and meat eating. I don't know why this idea came to me. It just came like this. Somebody was talking about yoga. If you want to get really high, you need to live the life of celibacy and sober life. And said, "Well, this sounds interesting, so let me try."
Amazing.
And so that happened, and then I start looking for some spiritual books, to kind of nourish me. I was reading different books before. I was reading like, spiritual books, people, like Carlos Castaneda. Basically, his religious experience was by taking hallucinogenic drugs. Anyway,
yeah, I have heard.
I started looking for something, and then somebody said there's there's people who fly. I said, okay, that sounds interesting. So I came across Maharishi, Mahesh Yogi, Transcendental Meditation. And they were speaking about Vedic knowledge, and it was interesting. And I thought, okay, they gave me mantra. You could buy a mantra like for $30. They even asked people to make a kind of initiation ceremony. And then one of the gurus, kind of to take care of me there, he gave me Bhagavad Gita of Maharishi, 6 chapters Bhagavad Gita. So I read it, and I said, oh, so but where's the rest? So I became interested to read the whole thing. It was kind of a very fascinating book. And then I came across somebody who was selling books on the street, and then they offered me, not Bhagavad Gita, there was another book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And I thought I already know everything, the full knowledge, but I was like, okay, I give this guy donation, I'm feeling good about myself.
And you didn't get the book?
No, I said, so, but when I gave him donation, and he was about to give me the book, he started saying, so I said, listen, I know a little bit about Vedas, or maybe I didn't say a little bit, maybe I said, I know about Vedas. Full of myself. And he said, so what? I said, yeah, we need to become one, there's unified field and blah blah blah. He said, but don't you know that there's also personal aspect of God? And I said, okay, this guy is annoying. He started trying to preach to me, I said, okay, if you continue talking, I will not take the book. I said, you're nice guys, but don't try to teach me. And he was smart enough to shut up, just give me the book. And then I basically went home, and I had some other things to read. And at some point I ran out of the books, and I started reading this book. And I had to journey from one city to another, from Donetsk, where I was living, to Kiev. And I was reading these books on a journey. And when I arrived to Kiev, I became a Hare Krishna, like 100% sold out. One thing which killed me is the goal of life is love of God. It makes sense. I mean, because before that, I didn't know, learn to fly, enlightenment, so many things, and I was not sure what is really the goal. And if I get this, what is enlightenment? I also didn't. So, and then this book explained me Krishna is God, and love of Him is goal of life. Makes sense. Everything made sense to me. I mean, I'm pretty sure I didn't understand 90% of the book because it's teaching of Lord Chaitanya, but I understood this. And then I started looking for devotees, and it took me 2 months. I could not find anybody. It's like so difficult to find devotees. I was looking and said, oh, they sell the books on the street, and I go there and I could not see anybody. So it was like very interesting. Hide and seek. Krishna was hide and seek with me. Anyway, and then finally I found a temple, and I came to the temple for the first time. It was like mind-blowing experience. I don't like it.
Was this in Kiev?
Yeah, it was in Kiev. So, and I came and I got my first halava in my prasad. Obviously. So I thought, okay, I will move somewhere. I rent a flat somewhere nearby, and we'll be coming to temple. So then I was speaking with one of the guys there, and I was saying, okay, I like this place so much, I will rent a place nearby and we'll be coming. He said, why you need to rent the place? Why don't you come and live here? I said, okay, that makes sense, and that's how I became a monk.
Oh. And which year was this, Gauranga?
2000.
Okay.
And I stayed monk for 10 months, or for 10 years.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
yeah. So and I lived in Kiev, and I moved to Germany. I lived in Cologne. I lived in Munich, and I traveled to India. This time, and then 2010, I got married. Not the monk anymore, but I continued my spiritual practice
I
practically
have known you
without
as a
much.
monk. Is it
Yeah, you
not?
had
I
known
have
me.
known you as a monk. And now, after you got married and had a kid, after many, many years, I'm meeting you again. So
Right.
now you're a business coach. Monk turned into a business coach. Gauranga, how is it?
Well, we know a famous example of somebody who was a monk and became a coach is Jay Shetty. So it's not
Ah,
a.
okay. Jay Shetty.
It's
Hmm.
I mean, you've been around and you used to help people with their things. And when the question came to make money, I was doing different things because once you're not monk, you have to start making money. I didn't think this through. It was the part. But so I was trying different things, and then I just basically figured out that most of the people, they will pay you money if you help them to make money. And,
And do
that's
you?
what I do.
Uh-huh. So, how do you connect your life to Bhagavad Gita, being a business coach?
Well, you need to follow your nature. Krishna says that you should follow your nature and don't try to do the duties of somebody else. Even if you do them perfectly, you will be ruined because you will not be able to be properly situated. So I was trying to find where I am fitting in this situation. I mean, in making money is uh, not who you are. It's how you make money shows who you are. If you are householder, you have to make money. No question. Only monks can live by begging. And obviously, Arjuna, the one to whom Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, was not a monk. So Bhagavad Gita is making money is not against any spiritual principles.
Right.
It's just where you situate it. You need to make them with integrity and with you know make them ethically and by giving value to people and not sacrificing your values. So I don't sacrifice my spiritual life for this. I don't sacrifice my values for this. And I help people genuinely to not make their life better in some sense, make more money. Many things. I'm helping business owners to find more money in their businesses, which is not so difficult. But for them, it's difficult. I was a business owner myself. I mean, in the beginning, and I know that if I would have somebody like me helping me out of this situation, my business would not crash. But it crashed at some points. I learned a lot of things about how and where to find the efficiency for the business owners, and I'm helping them do
So you're finding, yeah, I wanted to know about how you find, balance between your household life and the business coach work that you're doing, and you have a child.
well.
So how do
Obviously,
you?
as a business coach, I decide my own working hours and how many clients I can have. I'm not working for anybody, which makes things much easier. I can work or I can decide not to work. I can decide to have holidays as much as I want. Or I can decide to, my lifestyle. I mean, it's just a matter of how much money I want to make. And of course, when I take commitment, I follow through with my commitment. But a lot of times, I just need to speak once a week with my client, for example, and set them in motion, and they do something during the week. They come back if they uh, have some difficulty. I have the whole uh, learning process pre-recorded. I have a lot of lessons for them. I have a lot of downloaded materials for them and homework which they can submit. So I made the process as automatic as possible, as automatized. But yeah, definitely, if they need my personal attention, I'm always there for them. And I, my morning is dedicated to my sadhana. I do my spiritual life first, and in the evening I also do my spiritual life. So and in working hours I do work, and working hours I can decide also.
So what do you do? What is that sadhana you do?
I chant 16 rounds at least every day. So it takes like of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which I was initiated in, right, in 2002. So it takes around 2 hours every day. And with my main sadhana, I read some books like Bhagavad Gita or other spiritual books, which I have my mentors, spiritual mentors with whom I associate. I have my spiritual association also, where I spend time and we help one another in spiritual life. So this is,
Yeah, thank you for that. It's so important to have this few hours for personal sadhana, for personal development. Okay, Goranga, I heard that you do some special Kirtan Academy once a year for like continuous 3 months, teaching people, how to chant the holy names, and I don't know what else you teach. So what about that? How do you cope up with that? The three
well, yeah,
continuous months.
this is little bit intense, these 3 months, because on top of, so I reduce little work at this time, and this is my service, my seva, which I love to do. But I also organize it pretty much that we work with teachers, so we teach people music, harmonium, ridanga, karatals, instruments which you traditionally use in kirtan, which is a spiritual practice of singing the names of God. Or we also have vocal training. So for this we have teachers. So I don't teach them; I just organize the process. So I don't need to be involved, but I do spiritual like once 1 hour a day. I do like a spiritual talks with them and discussions, and we do also like 1 hour of kirtan with them. So it's basically 2 hours, 5 days a week is dedicated for this. It's extra on top, so it means I have to reduce my work by 2 hours. There's no way around it. Yeah, but it works out. And it's very, it's the best time of my life.
The intense 3 months marathon, you mean?
Yeah.
So what kind of audience you get in that program?
I mean, we usually
How many people do you train?
around 30 people. It's a residential thing, they all come. Now we're looking for launching online. But we were asked before, but now that would be the only option. So let's see. I'm a little bit busy with I have some new projects, my work-wise, so I have to follow through. As I said, if I take something up, I need to follow through with it. I don't let people down. I don't let my clients down, and so I'm hoping I can do it in a month's time. So then maybe we'll launch, and maybe we'll keep it open, because till now we mostly was focusing on people who very much familiar with Bhakti tradition, or somebody who practices it already. But I'm thinking of opening it up to anybody who is interested, maybe just in yoga. In principle, they didn't really
Wow.
do Bhakti. with themselves. So let's see. That's the plans. Let's
Okay.
see how it
So
goes.
once you start, then you can just give us the link for our audience to join the
Sure,
party.
absolutely. We will. We will.
So these audience, they come from all over the world, or it's just India? How is it?
Yeah, coming from all over the world. America, Australia, UK, Japan, China.
Or even Chinese?
Oh yeah, we always have somebody.
Okay. Okay. So now, as a business coach, you are a very successful person, right? So you must have some secrets of how you coach. And many of my audience, they're all entrepreneurs, business people. So could you please share those secrets? One, two, three. Number one.
I mean, I basically have a process. I cannot share, but I have a process where I can find for any business I can find $100,000 in profit in 45 minutes using their profit and loss statement. And I need to have some of their data, and I have very advanced software which I use, which is very quickly help me to analyze the state of situation. And we do incremental increases in all different areas. We have up to 40 areas where we can improve businesses, and we do very, very incremental increases, but they compound. So actually doing very, very small increases, which is very easy to do, uh, you know, end up making, doubling their profit very easy, double, even tripling them. But this is not very conservative outlook. Many people just getting mind blown. So I say, okay, let's focus on $100,000. Find you. Before I was talking about $10,000, but it was just ridiculous. I could never find them $10,000. It was impossible because with the first figure itself would be like $25,000 or $30,000 already. Because I'm dealing with small businesses, like $1 to $2 million annual revenue. So mostly it means they're performing well. They know what they do well. They have loyal customers and everything. But in this, these small businesses, they usually do everything else completely wrong. They don't do proper advertisement. They don't do proper delegation, outsourcing. They do not know how to do joint ventures, and there's so many things. Just that they just don't have time, because usually owner practically does everything. And he just hires people to basically do the job, but they don't have money or don't have even time to think about how to expand business in a different way. As they have a linear vision usually, which is pertaining to their professional expertise, but there's so much to business. Most of them are not financially literate, which is normal. I was also having business and not being financially literate. And starting everything, I'm mostly working with US clients because there's so many interesting opportunities there in economy, creating, paying less taxes, and there's so many stuff.
So you take inspiration from Bhagavad Gita time to time for your success?
Well, I take an inspiration from Bhagavad Gita not time to time, all the time for my life. I'm just doing what I need to do for my job, which is also principle of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that do your duty and remember me. Do this for me. I'll give the fruits of your activities, dedicate them to me. So that's what I'm trying to do all the time. But principles of business are also Vedic principles. It's all Krishna is a businessman himself.
Yes, yes, yes. Super businessman.
Transcendental, but nevertheless.
Of course, of course. It's untouchable. Like he's transcendental. Okay, so Goranga, coming to like towards the end of our conversation. So come on, share some three practical tips from Bhagavad Gita that you usually, uh, you know, yes, of course, everything, you read Bhagavad Gita, take inspiration, but practical tips that you would want to share for the business people.
Practical tips, read Bhagavad Gita. It's a very practical tip.
Okay.
Understand the Bhagavad Gita basically explains the whole nature of this world, material and spiritual, understanding who you are, what the goal of existence is, and how to go about live your life in the most efficient way and be most happy. There are so many instructions for everything and anything. It is said that you cannot. I mean, it spares you from so many unnecessary endeavors. It is said that you have the right to perform your duty, but you don't think that you are the cause of the result of your activities, or you the enjoyer of your activities. We are none of that. So we just do our duties, and according to our endeavor, according to God's will, according to our karma, we get results. And Krishna says that the one who is steady in mind and advanced, he sees with equal vision success and failure, money and pebbles, and praise and blasphemy. There's a lot of things we come across in our life. So once we understand that everything is just the lessons for us to learn, to grow stronger, to become more wise, to become closer to our real self and closer to our ultimate destination, then you put things in perspective. And listen, guys, it's easier said than done. But you should not be discouraged. I mean, you go on the path and you fall and just pick yourself up. It is like this in business, it is like this in spiritual life. And if you think that you can start anything and become a millionaire or become enlightened within few days, it's just a foolish illusion which basically will stop you from moving forward. If you understand the goal and you understand the path, and so many people have been there, again, in business or in the spiritual life, so many people walked this path before you and they became successful, and they tell you, don't get distracted by shiny objects. Be focused, see your goal, do the needful, one step at a time, do incremental progress. You cannot just jump over your head. Unfortunately, maybe some can, but it's very rare. Of course, there are some amazing, some people win lottery, or some people have some idea which become a billion or multi-billion dollar project. But most of these people, they work their asses off, to even get there. It's very rarely. And are you willing to do that? I'm not willing to work too hard. So that's, I'm happy where I am at financially, and I'm not super happy spiritually, but at the same time I'm happy. I want to be elsewhere, but I need to learn to be happy where I am, to move forward, and don't get discouraged. Don't get, don't stop, don't turn, because where is there to turn? There's no much alternatives. So that's the principle of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your insights.